This Christmas in Aleppo, armed soldiers are guarding a church in the neighborhood of El Azazia. Christians in Syria are nervous about celebrating this year, after a suicide attack at a church in Damascus in June killed 25 worshippers during a Sunday service. The bombing of Mar Elias Church shook the Christian community, and here in Aleppo, there are fears of further violence after recent confrontation between the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces and government troops, just 2 kilometers from this church. Despite their fears, some people have come out to sing carols and pray for peace. Priests held mass early, advising people to avoid outdoor gatherings late at night for their safety. There are fewer worshippers than in the past. Father Jamil Yoshua says his congregation at Aleppo's Chaldean church has been shrinking.
In 2011, we were 250,000. Today, we are fewer than 25,000.
Nearly 14 years of conflict have decimated Syria's Christian community. It's decreased from 1.8 million faithful in 2011 to 300,000 today. From Damascus to Homs, Hama, Aleppo and Latakia, congregations are a fraction of the size. Some people say they have little to celebrate. Tala al-Samara lost her mother in the Mar Elias attack, and she's still grieving.
This year, Christmas arrived about 6 months after the explosion, amid a grief that must take its time. Psychologically, we're not ready. You can't rejoice when sadness lingers for everyone.
But Father Jamil is hopeful.
In the end, the essence of Christianity is in the resurrection.
He says peace may feel distant this year, but he is confident Christians' faith will hold firm. Ayman, Oghanna, Al Jazeera, Aleppo, Syria.
Ayman is joining us live now from the Chaldean Church in the Al Azizia neighborhood of Aleppo. Ayman, good to see you this morning. You're joining us from outside the church that was featured in your report. I want to ask you, after a difficult year for Christians in Syria, what are you hearing from people there, and what are their hopes for the year ahead?
Well, here in Aleppo, Christians have told us that this year they're praying for peace and security. Recent violence has cast a shadow over this city's dwindling Christian community. I'm now in front of Aleppo's Chaldean church, where, as you can see behind me, there's heavy security. Just 2 kilometers from this church, there was recent fighting between Kurdish-led SDF, Syrian Democratic Forces, and government forces, wounding dozens and killing 4, including a mother and her teenage son. And then, as we said, earlier in June, a suicide attack at Mar Elias Church in Damascus killed 25 and wounded many more. So it's a bit tense in Aleppo for the Christian community, but there's still some hope and faith that peace will last in the new Syria.
Yeah, Ayman, the security presence that you point out certainly speaks volumes as to the tensions that exist in Aleppo and other parts of Syria. If you could tell our viewers a little bit more about the overall situation for Christians in Aleppo, and what have things been like for them this past year?
Well, in Aleppo and Syria generally, the Syrian population has plummeted. In 2011, Syrian Christians made up 10% of the population. Now it's just 2%. Here in Aleppo, there are 250,000 Christians before the war, and now a fraction of that at only 25,000. People are worried. The June bombing really shook people. As you saw in Damascus with Tala Samara, she lost her mother and hasn't been able to celebrate this year, feeling sadness. Here in Aleppo, the priest we spoke to yesterday, Father Jamil Yoshua, said that many of his congregation still talk to him about leaving Syria in the hopes of living in a more secure place. But some Christians remain, and as you can see, the government is taking security very seriously. All the churches in Aleppo have a heavy security presence, and they're trying to do all they can to make this Christmas a peaceful one.
All right, that's Ayman Oghanna live for us from Aleppo in northwestern Syria. Ayman, thank you so much.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.